What's up, Blueprint family? How y'all doing tonight? Thank you all for joining us. It's hot out there, y'all. Y'all be safe. Drink your water. Make sure you get in some shade or something, especially if you work outside. Um, it's hot. Yeah, it's hot outside today. But thank you all for joining us. We have a very good topic tonight. Very important, I would say. And the topic is what to do when your spouse loses their passion for work. What do you do? Um, Especially if you rely on the man. If it's the man that's supposed to be working in the relationship and he loses his passion for work, that sounds very lazy. Or we're going to talk about, I guess, other aspects of work, or him losing his work, or it's just him just being lazy.
Well, this was actually inspired by a great question from a wife who was literally looking for help and really asking, what do you do?
Hmm.
So, this is a great question that we're going to dig into. As always, we love to either have a question or a video or something. And today it is a question from a wife that I really love because a lot of this that we're going to cover tonight is exactly what we cover within the our wife economics course.
Hmm.
In particular, we have a whole week that's just dedicated to troubleshooting, communications, and those big challenges, life challenges, kind of unexpected challenges too, that just, may happen. But as a wife, how do you navigate through them? Because you can't just up and jump ship and leave, you
Right.
gotta know how to work through it. And really part of the big reason why we created Wife Economics was to provide women who are wives with support and help and guidance during some very difficult times. Because with the 80% initiated by women divorce rate, number one reason being irreconcilable differences. The main thing that came to my mind when sitting down trying to figure out how in the world can we address this and help bring down those numbers, it would be to provide that help. How can a woman really get that help to navigate these situations? Because honestly, it can be hard and lonely, especially if you don't have a good support system around you, good people giving you encouragement and advice within your ear to help you go through, and not just somebody telling you, oh, get out of there, because that's not productive. When you're in a marriage, you need productive advice. So, Wife Economics is definitely the tool for that. But tonight, we're going to go ahead and give y'all some jewels, some gems for
Dropping
free
gems, huh?
right here, just so we can really even impact and help our community even more. Because at the end of the day, it's really about making a difference in the world, not about the money, not about, selling or anything like that, but to actually provide value and to actually really help. Because this world, we need families.
Right. I mean, y'all just need, a lot of people, they just need the knowledge. The
Yeah.
knowledge. And I just wanted to add this too. Just looking at the video we did with the daily wrap up crew in the comments, there's a lot of people that speak out of ignorance. They don't know.
Yeah.
They come from a place they come from a very empty place. And that's where they speak from.
Yeah.
And that just shows us how much young or old, yeah, people need this type of information, or either just
Yeah.
having the dialogue, the discussion,
Yep.
the idea of
Yep.
what we're talking about and how it relationships function.
Yeah.
Especially, we've those who come from a place of not seeing a proper relationship in
Yeah.
their life, knowing how two people of the opposite sex coexist together daily in order to
Yeah.
raise a family and how to make that work.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
here. We are here to add that value to the
Hmm.
world.
Yeah. Allowing
And,
God to work through us.
right. Because truth be told, these videos are going to outlast, you know, time, me and my
Hmm.
wife. And I hope that our children one day, if they ever come into a bind and don't remember what we said, that they go back and watch these videos. So you get what I'm saying? This is our testament.
And other people's kids.
Right.
That's all I
Other
think about is
people's
other people's
children,
children.
our
Yeah.
grandchildren,
Hmm.
more importantly, that, we don't, the cool thing about what we're doing is that, I had a friend ask me, how did our grandparents make
Yeah.
it? Our grandparents, I mean, our grandchildren and great grandchildren will be able to see how we made it,
Yeah.
because of what we're doing.
Hmm.
I encourage multiple. happy married couples to do what
Yes.
we're doing.
Yes, please.
This world needs more of this.
Yes, please.
I am very surprised, in a good way, about how many people are saying, the comments that they're saying about that video we did with the Daily Wrap Up crew, about how, they needed this type of dialogue. They needed this type of um information. It's not given out a lot of times. It's not given out for free. We're giving it out for free, y'all.
Yeah.
So we really love y'all. We really love the community. We love our nation. We love our world that we live in, and we're just trying to keep it moving forward, because easily information like this can be lost quickly when you have a lot of disinformation going on. I'm just leave it at that. But I'm not trying to take up all the time talking about things like that. We want to get back on topic. So normally, as we always do, we talk about a letter. We have someone write in and talk about what they're going through, so we can apply the real world application, so that you all can better understand.
Yep, how this would look.
Yep.
So this subject was how to help a husband who hates working. The message said, a year ago, my husband was a happy-go-lucky dude. Woke up singing, always laughing and making jokes. Now he's like a different person. He had a couple months off work and he realized how much he hates working. He started thinking about the big corporate picture for the first time. Thoughts like, why does the average quality of life get worse over time when new technology should have made life easier and the cost of living cheaper? Elite corporate greed has stolen the right to live from everyone, enslaving us, and it's depressing going to work just to afford a home and a car to get me back to work, etc. Now, these are thoughts I've had since I was about 13. I always thought the rat race was BS and society is run by selfish assholes, but it's the society we live in. I don't think we should get extremely depressed over it. It is what it is. I have suggested he quit and find a job doing something he prefers, anything at all. But his issue isn't his job, it's all jobs within the current system. I've suggested we sell everything and live in a tent or a van, but we have 4 dogs with special medical needs, and he doesn't want to risk that. He's very depressed, never wants to do much of anything. He will still go for sex, which we do, but I need help. Any tips?
Hold on, go back. He will go for sex. What?
Yeah, he was still
never wants to do much of anything.
Yeah,
but have sex.
Uh-huh.
Man. I don't want to say that this man is lazy, but it seems like he makes a lot of excuses. And we didn't pick this world. I get that. We didn't pick you and the thing about this, we don't pick where we're born at, right? But the thing is that you have to overcome adversities. Adversities are what makes you stronger. Adversities are what makes you move on forward. Adversities make you better in life. And what I'm reading is that this person is picking a lot of negative. He's picking up a lot of good negative points. I must say that it is preventing him to basically become useless, for the lack of better terms. But the thing is that this man has used the power of negativity to keep him from working.
Yeah,
that's the way that I look at it.
Yeah. I see a lot of it being, depression. Losing a job can spark depression for a man for a number of reasons. And, it's important that we even go over some of these reasons. I had to sit down and really take the time to think about that, because especially when I think about throughout the Wifeconomics course, this is actually one of the scenarios that we tackle. Certainly because, it's common, unfortunately, especially with COVID, after COVID and stuff like that, how people were losing their jobs and still losing their jobs. Families are impacted by this more now than I think in a while, that this has ever happened.
You're right. And it's easy to fall into that mental trap
Yeah.
too as well.
And the mind is powerful. The mind is extremely powerful.
Right.
But like you said, he's dwelling on in the negative. So,
Right. Yeah. I mean,
it's making it
that's
harder.
it. He needs to really just focus on the positive and get some help. As a mentor,
Yeah.
he needs somebody to talk to.
Yes.
And not just focus on the negative. That's the
Yeah.
easy. That's the easy part. But he has to want to do better.
Yeah.
And I see they have 4 dogs. Dogs, the love for dogs are not the same as it is for children. And you might have those dog parents out there who may want to debate me or whatever the case may be. But when you got something that actually looks like you, then it's the world changes. I don't care what you say. So if you're a dog parent out there, I'm open for debate. Not unless you yourself looks like a dog, and you may see yourself in your dogs. I get that, but I would need some hard proof in order to agree with you.
Yeah,
But
it's not the same.
yeah,
A
it
dog
ain't
and
the
a
same.
child is
It's
not.
not the same. But I
We
guarantee,
got a dog too, and I would
right,
not say as much as I love Miss Roxy, she ain't got nothing on our babies.
right, exactly. And I can guarantee you that. But
Yeah.
that may be one of the situations here. If you replace 4 dogs with 4 children, I bet his ass will be at work,
But
making
I
sure.
certainly wouldn't do that.
No,
Yeah.
no, but you get what I'm
If
saying.
it was switched,
Yeah,
if they had kids instead of
yeah.
dogs, yeah,
He would had to suck all those negative thoughts up and say,
yeah.
well, if I don't work today, these kids don't eat.
Yeah.
So and the wife is overextending herself, and I appreciate that. Because a lot of women wouldn't stick around for that, living in a tent, a van, or something, and just giving this man sex or whatever. He sounds lazy, extremely lazy.
Well,
to
do
me.
you know depression will do that to you? Depression will cripple you, especially if it's gotten really bad. And that's one thing mental health is something that I certainly don't want to downplay because your mind is super powerful.
Right.
Whether you use it for good or bad,
Right. But I mean, I believe this man negatively thought himself into depression. This was more so like self-inflicted depression.
Well, yeah, because once you think one negative thought, then the next one's going to follow. And then it's easier to go with the next negative thought and the next negative thought. Because the more you keep going into it, then it's harder to reach for that better feeling thought.
Right.
It's so much harder.
That man needs to talk to his father.
If he has one.
Yeah, I hope he has a father.
Or a male mentor. Or
he needs to talk to
therapist.
Right. I pray that he has a father. And if he does, he needs to go and talk to her. I mean, him about how him and his mom made it. And I'm pretty sure it involves work. And
oh yeah,
and the thing is, I mean, I'm digressing. I just wanted to say this to him, and I'll be quiet so we can stick to the topic.
Don't do that.
But if he thinks that's work, I wonder how long they've been married, and
right,
and how good is he working in his relationship as being a man? Just
yeah,
because evidently he's floundering at being a provider, and it looks like she may be providing for them.
Yeah,
but
because that wasn't even really mentioned.
Yeah,
Either, but
they need some. He needs some help. He needs to talk to somebody. I mean, we're here for consulting as well. Consultations.
Yeah.
So if you all out there and y'all going through something, y'all don't want to take a professional route, because by no means are we licensed professionals,
psychologists,
yeah,
or anything like that.
Yeah, but we are
I
also
recommend that for him though.
Right.
Yeah.
We're also here for some sort of advice. If you can't reach out and find anybody, we're here for you, so you can hit us up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, depression can really enable you. It will disable you rather, and cripple you.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and as a woman in particular, I commend this wife for reaching out for that help, like you said. Her tenacity to even say, "Hey, we're gonna figure this out," is super important, and I commend that, and I'm grateful for that. And so, because of that, we're gonna go through this together on some things that you can do. And other women out here, if you are in the situation, this is for you as well. And men, I think this can even apply to your woman if she is having some issues and not really wanting to work or anything like that. Maybe this could apply to that as well if y'all aren't in the position for you to take on the financial load. That's why we put spouse, because truth be told, this information will really be helpful for a lot of people. But in particular, let's go over some of these reasons why, or what depression could look like within his head and what's going on, because then this is going to really help you to understand. So the first part is you want to understand where he's at. first off, of course, financial stress. He talked a lot about, getting a house, to get a car, to, just to go back to work. So obviously, the loss of income has a major, major financial hardship that comes right along with it. And especially if he is, like you said, the sole provider or the main breadwinner for the family, that's really gonna, bring a whole lot of stress because you're going to be thinking about how you're going to pay bills, how you're going to make ends meet, even just providing for the spouse or kids. If kids are involved, that's even worse. I'm actually really glad you guys don't have kids. That is ideally, this is where you want to be because you don't have kids. And so other, it's not as it's not other little ones involved that really make things even more complicated and even more of an emergency in a way. Not saying that this isn't one, but you got some time to play with here because hopefully you guys are in a place where you're making it. It's been a couple months, she said, since he has been out of work. So hopefully you guys have an emergency savings. And I think right there, I didn't even write that down, but it came to my head. This is why it's important to have that emergency savings. It's why and I know it's so hard, right? During this time for people to actually do that. But this is why it's super important to, as best as possible, stash money away for those hard times. At least 6 months of the years of worth of your expenses, you should be living under your means. So then that way you have that ability to stash aside. But within, especially the Black and brown communities, it's super, super important that you have an emergency savings. And even Caucasian communities and other communities, but I think within our communities as well, it's not as much talked about. People will buy money on, splurge money on other things, but you won't make sure that you stash the money aside for a rainy day. And this is why it's important.
Right. Because on average, the emergency savings for, I think, a family, the average American family today is only $400.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, it's only $400.
Yeah. That was that article that came out. So I can't remember.
It was only $400.
Yeah.
And that emergency savings itself is an emergency because your rent, your bills is probably way more than just $400. We're living in some very financially stressful times, y'all.
Yeah.
And the relationship is very important. Relationships are very important in these times, especially when we don't have it all. Mm-hmm. You have to what happens when you don't have nothing? You rely on other people. That's just the fact of the matter of the situations. If you yourself and your family have it all, you all are doing well. Mm-hmm. Form great relationships with your neighbors, I would say, in the case that your neighborhood needs to come together for some reason.
Yeah.
It's risk management. You just need to understand that helps out a lot.
Yeah, and that's super important.
Mm-hmm.
But back to some other reasons, some other things that losing a job, how that can contribute to depression, is for men in particular. Their job could be a really big part of their identity, especially if he worked really hard to build himself up in his career and to have worked so hard to get to a certain point, and to have something devastating happening, like losing your job for whatever reason. It can also feel like you've lost your identity at some point, because that sense of accomplishment that they have worked to define themselves and the purpose that he once had is now gone. This lady mentioned that her husband would wake up singing and happy and stuff like that. He had purpose. He was excited. And when a spouse loses their job, male or even female sometimes, especially now with women being so career driven, it can often feel like, you've lost a part of yourself. And that can be super hard, especially for a man who is, really big on that. I think men in particular, we talk about within my wife economics course, the whole thing, how like men really, they get that confidence in seeing themselves apply their skills and build their skills up and build up their accomplishments. That really gives them confidence to continue doing what they're doing. And so when you take a big blow like this, it can be really, really hard. So, it's certain we're going to get into some of the reasons of, why you don't want to beat your spouse down during this time, because he is already going to be going through certainly something traumatic within, and you will witness it without, of course, for sure. So
right. And then also to keep in mind too that you don't necessarily have to be married
Right.
If your relationship is good and then you have this unexpected downturn in your relationship as far as jobs, and your boyfriend loses his job
Yeah.
by acts that's beyond him and things that are out of his control, that is all the perfect time to help support that man and pick him up and help him find another job and be patient with him.
Yeah.
But I don't know about this situation with this woman. This man just seems to be negotiating himself out of jobs. That's what it seems
Don't
like to
count
me.
him out. I see a little
I-
gleam of hope. You know why I see a little gleam of hope? Because he's not his depression. And I always say that
Go back.
depression is not the person. Depression is something that he's going through. And she mentioned, I love that she started off and she mentioned that her husband was just a year ago a happy-go-lucky dude. He woke up singing, always laughing and making jokes. That is huge to make note of, because that is him. That is who he was. What happened is life happened and it kind of set him back a bit. And now is a good time for you to be able to, help him create that environment that can help him get back there.
My advice is to get him into a remote or a teleworking job. Since he don't have to, he can stick it to the man by not driving and spending gas money.
Right.
He might feel better about that.
Right. And that's certainly one of the things we're going to get into a bit later too. Some actual things that you can do to help create this environment that's going to help him get back to that lively spirit that he once was. That again is the job of a wife. And you mentioned, that a girlfriend should be able to do these things as well, because it just really will show your qualities and your abilities to stick it through tough times when it comes, because that's life,
Right. So, I mean, and also too, the boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance situations.
Yeah.
That's your audition for marriage. So, you really want to show up during those times as well. So don't take those relationships lightly.
Right.
Don't.
Right.
Especially when you all know that you all are going somewhere.
Yeah.
You're progressing.
Yeah. That's so true. Also, losing a job can lead to social isolation. And I really thought about this in particular because of the whole with COVID and then lockdowns and, a lot of people being unemployed and actually spending less time with their family and their friends. That actually will contribute to a person feeling like they're not worthy or they're not capable of contributing to society anymore, because maybe related to the whole loss of identity thing, they aren't actually doing that. They aren't actually out here working. And just being isolated in general will make it so much more harder to cope with other challenges like unemployment or, financial stress or the loss of identity like we previously covered. So all of this in general will be, what's the word, maximized or like pushed, it'd be highlighted even more if you socially isolate yourself just a little bit. So like him spending time so much alone, if she does work,
it would be enhanced.
Thank you. That is the word I was looking for. Yeah. Because he'd be spending time alone, especially if she's working and stuff like that. So it would be super important for him to actually get out, if he could, with friends, family in some way, of actually being able to get out into society and find a reason to be productive again. Because of course, life is about relationships, truth be told. And that's why he's feeling this way of, average quality of life gets worse over time, blah, blah, blah. All those depressing thoughts is because at the core of it, life is about relationships, truth be told. And at the end of the day, it's really about those connections and that love that you build with people around you, and having those people around you that make you happy and fulfill you within yourself, because someone loves you and supports you and is there with you really to go through life. So that's also probably why he is enjoying sex. That gives you that, those feelings. We'll talk a little bit about that later, but it really just helps give you those feelings of connection that you're going to need during this time, because social isolation will certainly make things worse.
Well, and also too, stress relief.
Yes.
As well.
We'll get, for sure.
But I don't know. This guy, he got a lot of red flags, I think. I don't know. I can't stop talking about this guy and how he just doesn't want to. He just makes a lot of excuses to me. I don't know.
Yeah, that's also the point why I love our platform, because you offering that male perspective and me offering the female perspective, you'll see how it's totally different. Like you are just more like, like the man. So you're
Yeah, just
more
suck
like,
it up and
yeah, right,
go to work. I mean,
right,
and
right.
even if he's not working and she's working, he need to be volunteering or
Yeah,
something.
doing something. Yeah.
Because those 4 dogs, that's all they have 4 dogs, and he got to figure out how to walk the dogs and then come back home and
Right. He better open up a dog walking business. Yeah, I
yeah,
got
he
little
need to be
dog.
resourceful.
Right, right,
Right,
right.
exactly. And that's a 6-figure business.
Right, right.
He
Yeah,
better he
exactly.
better take on 4 more dogs and as a business and walk those dogs for the neighborhood.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
Yes, and drop that jewel right there. Go ahead and do that. But yeah,
yeah,
that's
dog
certainly
walking, but that ain't for me. I ain't
right.
taking care of nobody else's dog.
Right. It's something that they're already doing, though. He's already
Right.
doing it. So
Yeah.
it's just like,
And
yeah.
bathing and washing and
Yeah, yeah.
fighting dogs all day. Nah, I can't see that. That ain't me.
Last one is like you're losing a job will certainly lead to a reduced self-esteem, and it kind of goes right back to the whole loss of identity thing that we talked about. But men who are unemployed, they really will deep within maybe start to question their worth and their ability to provide for themselves and their families. I mean, because evidence is showing you ain't got no job. So this will naturally lead to feelings of sadness, hopelessness, worthlessness. All of these things are going to make depression so much worse, and certainly lead him kind of down the rabbit hole that you don't want to go. You don't want him to go in. So as a wife, this is when it's really important that you can really take in what we're saying and be able to recognize if you see any of these things within him, which you more than likely probably do, because you said that he is already really depressed. But just being able to recognize that this is actually happening will help you to be proactive in creating that environment that will hopefully kind of reel him back into reality, and don't let him slip too far ahead, because that is your job as a wife. Believe it or not, it really is. And I commend you again for not running away. You're standing up, and that's what you're supposed to do. So we're going to help equip you with some things that can help you keep doing what you're doing, because we commend you for real.
They're married, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how long they were married for.
Yeah, they didn't say. Yeah.
But if you are a man who has lost your job,
Yeah.
and you are experiencing symptoms of depression, it is important to seek help.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to your doctor, a therapist, or a trusted friend or family member. Somebody, talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Other than your spouse, I would say.
Yeah.
Particularly if you are a man, you need to talk to a male mentor. This man needs one. There are also a number of online resources that can offer support and guidance. We can offer that guidance as well. If you trust it, I would give you some great advice, which we do every night. You don't mind, just come reach out to me. And we can give you some consulting and some what do we call it? Some
coaching.
Yeah, coaching or
consulting was right.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can give you some advice on that.
Yeah.
But I would say that this man needs a male mentor in order to figure his life out and what he's doing.
Yeah. And certainly if this is important, I think, for if you have a history of depression or mental health issues in general, for you to make sure that you reach out to a third party. Don't try to do this alone, especially if you have a history of this, because adding in, life and all the issues that's come along with it, it will certainly make it harder for you to get a grip onto life. So please take the time to get the help that you need. But it's always a great thing for a wife to be able to cultivate that environment for him. And so far, she hasn't said anything about her being negative towards him. So that is one thing to really consider and take into heart that you don't do, because even if you're feeling frustrated and even if you're so angry, even if this has been going on for another 2-3 months, being negative towards him is never going to help you accomplish the goals of getting him back to that loving, happy-go-lucky husband that he once was. And he still is. He just has the cloud of depression hanging over him at this moment. So you just being mean or hard on somebody when they're feeling down will certainly only make his depression worse. So you really just want to avoid doing things that will make him not feel worthy of love and not feel worthy of the support that he genuinely deserves in you as his wife. So please, it will really damage your relationship even further. And that's not what you want. In a marriage, you don't want to make things worse. You don't want things to damage your trust and your intimacy so much that it's so hard to get back and you just don't know what else you can do. That is where divorce and irreconcilable differences and all that other stuff comes in. And we all just have to remember that it's two people in a relationship. So although your spouse is going through something, and although you're maybe feeling those emotions right along with him, it is your job, if your spouse is down, to take on that high road and help them up. So please just don't be negative. Don't try to make things worse. Do things that are going to improve their mood, even if you're feeling frustrated. So I just
Right. And if you are frustrated, I would advise again to go seek help for this man. Go get some help.
Even her herself too,
Mhm.
to get that release. Maybe if she is feeling, because like you
Right.
said, that
Because that's easy for somebody to want to beat this man, to have a
Yeah.
bass fesh, to
yeah,
bash this man down.
it is so much
Um,
easier, so much easier. Yeah, and
You
that's
know,
what
that's
people
what
do.
people do.
hmm
That's what, men and women do to each other. When
Yeah.
someone's falling behind in the relationship, it's easy to start competing. And we had a video about competing yesterday.
hmm
It's easy to start competing and just bash that person down, just look back and laugh at them
Yeah,
and then leave them. It's so easy. And it happens, it happens all the time. Instead of trying to see the potential in the person that you already with, uplift them so that they can help support
yeah, because we're
each
not
other.
all perfect. Like you're not going to have a perfect spouse or a perfect life.
Right. And our
at that.
backgrounds aren't perfect either.
No, it's
So-
not going to be easy to do, the good thing, the good, honest, happy, positive thing all the time. But it is doing that is what's going to help create better change and inspire change. Like my husband says all the time, inspire change within your husband, because that's really what you're looking to do. So that then you can move on and look back and be like, whoa, we got through something heavy, right? And we did it. And kudos to us, because now I know that we can get through anything. So this is that moment for you to actually create that opportunity for you guys to actually step into. So yeah, it's also important. I think we mentioned this a little bit earlier, but just for you to remember that your husband is not his depression. You should really try to focus on those positive aspects of him and who he is, and try your hardest to be supportive and understanding, because even though, there's no one size fit all for this. If any other viewers out there are going through this, you will see that, what may work for one person as far as pulling them out of the funk may not work for the next person. But as a wife in general, it is your duty to look to create an atmosphere that will help to uplift your husband's spirits and hopefully uplift your spirits as well. You don't want to continue being around your husband when he is down in the dumps. I'm sure it doesn't help you, especially because she said that, I'm usually not like this. I don't get like this. So that is you recognizing within yourself that it is already easier for you to pick yourself up when faced with the negatives of life, when faced with those hard things. You said it is what it is. I don't think we should get extremely depressed over it. So that just shows right there that is your strength. And that should be utilized for the advantage of your marriage, not just for your advantage, but put it to use for your husband as well.
Mhm.
That is going to lead to growth, and that is what's going to help him get out of all of this.
Right. So, take heed.
Yeah.
Men and women take heed to what my wife just said.
Yeah.
Look for people. If you're not in a relationship now, look for those qualities in the other person, those qualities of support from
Yeah.
other people. And don't look, and also too, you'll see that this woman isn't selfish. She isn't
Right,
selfish
no.
at all. So
No.
she's willing to be patient with this man in order to get the results that they both need in this
Right.
relationship.
And they will get.
Right. Because it don't come,
Balance.
it's very rare for you to come into a relationship where someone has it all.
Yeah.
Someone has it all and they're willing to risk it all on you.
Yeah.
So this woman is really willing to risk it all to rehab her husband back into the workforce.
As she should.
Right.
As she should. Truth be told. So here's some quick little tips, some things that you can do to help create that environment, right? So, because that's really, I think, all you can do. Like you said, inspire that change. You're not going to be able to, force him. You don't want to do that. You also don't want to enable him, and you don't want to mother him, right? You don't want to do it all for him so that he doesn't build up that courage. What you are going to do as a wife, though, is to help push him, give him those gentle nudges, give him that gentle love, create that environment that's really going to help bring him back and hopefully spark that motivation within him. That's really what your goal overall is. But first one we always recommend is how to uplift your spouse's spirits is to spend time with them. Of course, no brainer. But hey, this might be something that you're not doing too much of, especially if you're actually the one that's working and stuff like that. So, if this is the case, finding those opportunities to do things together that you both enjoy will help come together, create that intimacy that's going to help lead to those, deeper aspects that we're going to help, build upon to really help motivate him. But, this can be anything from like going to a walk for a walk together or playing games together or like, watching movies, just making sure that you're doing those things that you do that used to always make him happy when y'all were together, creating that old time and feel of how things once were, because that will help create and spark those memories back within him that will hopefully, create some new feelings of wanting to go back out there and do what he got to do for you and his family.
Right. I also want to add in and throw in there too that while you all are doing that, do a little quick relationship check-in. Check the status of your relationship while y'all are walking and saying, "Hey, how are we doing? Today, in our relationship, and what are your feelings as far as our relationship is going? So that you all can find the common ground in the relationship and have an open-mindedness about your relationship as far as progress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. You can even go as far as like creating that relaxing environment at home. So, like playing soft music, lighting candles, baths together, all of this. People may think that this is crazy to even try to build up intimacy at this time, but believe it or not, she mentioned that sex was the one thing that he was up for doing. And believe it or not, ladies, intimacy can be a really, really powerful tool to help motivate your spouse and even give him that sense of self esteem. You mentioned reducing stress. It will provide that sense of connection. And of course, if he is out here trying and you see him trying, it will reward him for the hard work that he is doing and trying.
Well, you said give him more sex?
Not more sex, but connect. I mean, and intimacy isn't just sex, though.
Right.
Intimacy is a wide range of things, from connecting with each other, talking with each other, like you said, doing those check-ins, getting deep on your feelings and all that other stuff. All of that is going to build that sense of connection within each other. And most importantly, intimacy will help him feel loved and feel desired. And that is super important when someone is depressed. In particular, when a husband feels loved by his wife, it can give him that sense of purpose and motivation like nothing else. So that may be a tool that, especially if you're still enjoying sex with your husband, as you should, don't let life stop you from connecting with your husband. Great on you for still continuing to do this, but just please pay attention to yourself and how you're feeling. I'm not saying give it to him when you're not feeling up to it and stuff like that. Don't do that. Pay attention to all of that. But really, if it is working and it's something that you enjoy, take advantage of that. Utilize that for your benefit and for the benefit of him as well, so that he will hopefully get some extra motivation to want to work hard and provide for his family and make you happy, especially if he's able to see that you're rewarding him for that.
Mm-hmm.
It will help.
So do things that make him laugh.
Yeah.
So this could be watching funny movies, telling jokes, or simply being silly together.
Yeah.
I would say also to do things, allow him to do things that he like to enjoy.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah. And try to do those things with him. Whether it's like playing video games or we talked about the first one, just playing games or like we're talking about here, watching movies.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Yeah, and then this again, don't get this twisted. We're not saying to just do
Reward
this and
him.
not do
Yeah.
nothing else. We're gonna get into those
Yeah.
things as well, the added things that you're gonna be doing right along from this. But what you're really trying to do is keep that environment going where you guys are connected, you guys are supporting, you guys are loving each other. Because
Communicating.
that's gonna help assist you with these other things
Right.
that we're going through.
Because what you don't
Yeah.
want to do is be negative and stop communicating and start
Yeah.
competing with each other because
Yeah,
you're going to be separated.
yeah, for
You know,
sure.
he's depressed now about the world, and next he's going to be depressed because y'all not talking
Yeah,
to each other. So and
yeah, or having intimacy or anything. Yeah,
right.
yeah, so true.
Encourage him to talk about his feelings. So let him know what you're listening, that you're listening to him.
Yeah,
And that you won't judge him.
yeah,
Listen to him. So let him talk about his feelings and what he is going through.
yeah.
So I mean, but I do think that this man needs someone to give it to him straight.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
she needs to get a third party involved with that.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not receptive to her
Yeah,
providing
another
that
male.
input,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, not you. Don't. I wouldn't recommend you doing that. Not yet. We're gonna. In particular, you will offer your own support in your way as a wife, letting him know that you're there for him and you believe in him and you're ready to help assist him along the way. But you just really got to be understanding and remember that he's not his depression, and you're going to need somebody else, another man in particular, that's going to help you help him help himself.
Right.
Really, that's the best way to put it. But yeah.
Also to help him to set small goals.
Yeah.
So this could be something as simple as getting out of the bed in the morning or going for a walk around the block.
Yeah.
I heard that more and more people are setting alarms for schedules throughout the day so that they can stop doing one thing and then start doing the next. And that's the world that we live in now. No longer are we just jotting things down. We're actually setting alarms. So set alarm for that walk around the block. That I heard that really makes a difference. I heard that today, that really makes a difference by setting an alarm, because it I don't know, that noise alerts your brain to do something else.
Yeah.
So that's something new that I heard that actually works.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it really does. I can see that really being helpful. And in particular, depending on how deep in his depression he gets, sometimes it can be really hard to get out of bed. Again, that's when depression gets severe like that. And again, you will need definitely him to get into some type of therapy and some type of counseling. But you could certainly help by nudging him to maybe get out of bed and do this and try this, or go exercise, or get involved in different things, and that will really help assist him along the way, so that he can give him some type of accountability. Maybe ask him, especially if you have to go to work or something like that and you're not there, shoot him a text or call and say, like, hey, have you gotten up, have you done this, how's things going, like, how you feeling, have you bothered exercising, whatever the things that you have come to find out that he really enjoys and that helps him get back into this better space. Encourage him to do those things. Again, this is no one size fit all. It's going to look different for everybody, but you have to just find, as his wife, those things that are really helpful for him to do for himself, and then encourage him and remind him to do those things so that he can not fall into a depression even further by not doing nothing.
Right. Oh, I just want to also throw this out there. We usually say this is a live call-in show. So if you all have any questions, even off topic, we don't mind those at all. Comments, we love those too as well. And also too, for the Instagram viewers, if you all can subscribe to our YouTube channel, that really helps us out a lot, and we really appreciate that. We are over 6,000 subscribers on Instagram, and on average nightly we're getting anywhere between like 35 to 40 viewers on Instagram. So we really appreciate you all. And we can help us, you can help us out even more by also joining our YouTube channel. So we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, we got some cool things. We're actually going to clip up videos. We're in the process of working on that, of clipping up these long streams that y'all hold on for, which I'm so glad you're where you're supposed to be. So thank you. Whether you're on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, you're where you're supposed to be. So thank you for tuning in. But we're excited to actually clip this information up for, like, wider distribution, so it's not as long for people to watch. But
Right.
hopefully y'all love these shows anyway.
That was something that I heard about too, is that successful people, they if they find some sort of value or in watching online videos, so at least once a day you need to watch something that gives you value, as opposed to all the entertainment in the world that's out there. And we thank you all for finding us and utilizing us for that value.
Yeah, for sure. So, right along with when we were talking about helping him to set small goals for, life in general, you can help him to find this new job. So, offer to help him, with his resume, or even like practicing interviewing, or, networking with different friends or families, or online, or different business things that he can go to, different mentors that he can meet up with, conferences, all types of things that he can get into that will, internships, volunteering. You talked about that too. All types of things that will help him to, feel good about himself and build his confidence. That is certainly a great thing for you to help him do in the long run.
Yeah. So you can also too, you need to take care of yourself. So it's important for you to take care of yourself too. The wife. So make sure you're getting enough sleep, eating healthy foods, and exercising regularly. I think he also needs to do these things as well. To make sure that he's in a good mental state, because the lack of all of that can get you into, that can get you into a bad way of health. So
and we really can't downplay how important it is when you are feeling depressed to eat foods that are energetic and are going to offer you some energy, not foods that are going to kind of deplete you or drain energy for you, or even worse, give you that high sugar rush and then just crash you back down even more. If you can eat more lively foods, that will certainly help him to get more energy and feel better about himself. So keep fruits and vegetables and cook them good meals. And you should also be, like you said, eating good as well. So then that way you guys are making sure that your body and your mind is getting the nutrition it needs to work through life, really, when it comes.
Yep. And then also to be patient and understanding. It's important to remember that depression is a real medical condition. And it's not something that your husband can just, I guess, snap out of. So be patient with him and try to understand what he's going through. Understand him, understand his depression. Don't belittle him. Don't be negative. Now is not the time to bash him, like we were saying before. And also vice versa. If your spouse, if your wife is going through depression as well, that's something that you shouldn't try to get upset about, or try to be aggressive with them about. So that is something that we just wanted to let you all know, because that's the easy part. People can easily start bashing you, and we know that happens in the relationships. I mean, I think we all seen those memes or graphics of how, especially in the Black culture, how the women are not supportive with their men, and how they beat and bash Black men down and all that stuff. So against that, the opposite of that, tonight we're giving you that value, giving you the blueprint, if anything, on how it should look and how it should work out.
And hopefully with all of this, and you being patient, and you providing this supportive environment for him and helping him along the way and encouraging him, all of that is going to really help him to get motivated and get back out there, because it's really all you can do at this point. Again, I don't even want to entertain the thoughts of what could be happening, if things get worse and other things like that. This is why we do please encourage him to seek professional help, so that way it doesn't go down, it doesn't spiral down too much to where you got even bigger problems.
Right. Because I mean, a lot of people walking around here with mental problems, that they can't fix themselves.
Yeah.
So it really does take a professional level of help in order to, or somebody, some third party person, in order to help them to at least realize it, or um, basically accept it.
Yeah, and develop healthy coping mechanisms, because the same thing that he's sitting here saying, we all have had these thoughts of like, forget this rat race, like, why we got to do this? Life used to be easy when we used to just be frolicking in the woods and not worried about community. But then, right, yeah, because then you got like bears and right. I was thinking that too.
Lions. I don't know. Hope we ain't got no lions. I mean, no,
right. That's the woman in me, right? The woman.
Y'all got mountain lions out west. To our California viewers out there, yeah, y'all got mountain lions. So y'all gotta be careful when you all are frolicking through the woods.
But like life now it's different. Like it's social. We are, we got to go out here and work, and you got to do stuff, and you got to keep going, and you just can't let it be.
Right. You can't let what you see on TV. You can't let what you see on social media prevent you from
finding purpose.
Right. Finding purpose, and also to operating daily.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make that an excuse. Find some sort of inspiration, motivation, and what better source of that than your spouse?
Yes.
I always say this night after night, that your inspiration. So you can only inspire change, but you cannot make someone change. So in this case, this wife also needs to understand that you can't make your husband change. You can inspire change in your husband and hope that he is receptive to it. Mm-hmm. But he can only change himself. That would be my last piece of advice to her, is for her to understand that above all, no matter how patient you are, she needs to also understand that challenge of how people are. You can't, it's hard to change people or be in a relationship to make someone change, or either make them love you, or whatever the case may be. In this case, make him work,
right.
So she can't make him work,
right,
but she can inspire him to work,
right.
She can encourage him to work. So I'm gonna leave that right there.
That's
so the most important thing is to be patient, understanding, and supportive. So with your help, your husband can start to feel better and find his passion for life again. Hopefully.
Yeah, and this can apply again to women as well too. We kind of got into that, but mainly I really think with this wife, it's not over. Just don't think that way. Just think of it as something that you all have to work through and get through, and you will. Especially if you run this back, take down these notes, the things that we have said. I truly, truly believe that you will be able to help pull him out of this. And in particular, if you need any more support, we are certainly here for that. We have once long years ago experienced the time where my husband we had actually already had the job lined up, because we had little hints that the company was about to lay off, remember?
I didn't have any.
I was like 3 months or 4 months ahead of time.
It was 3 months. In the video you said 1 month.
No, that they told you was 1 month, because remember you had your 2 weeks. We was about to put in your 2 weeks anyway.
But we saw the red flags
like 3 months ahead, when they sat him down in the little conference room and stuff like that. Like,
it was a big conference.
We've experienced this, so we get this. This is why this isn't.
I'll drop that gem on y'all now. If you're in a situation, because I know this economy is rocky, and then what the tech layoffs had happened. Don't think that they're going to be more. Don't think that there aren't going to be any more layoffs in this economy that we're going into a recession. If you all are at work and this is what happened to me. They pulled like 500 of us into conference rooms that were off site. If your job is doing that to you all and telling you all have a purpose here, you all have a place here, identify that as a red flag, and then try to go ahead and submit your resume to other jobs.
Don't try
to
do that.
Yeah, go ahead and do it.
I remember you came home, you said that. I said, "What? You ain't got to tell me twice." Right. What's that about?
Because that isn't normal. And then for the following month, if they do that again and telling you all, we appreciate you all, you all have a purpose here, you all have a place here. Take that as a red flag
Yeah.
and apply for other jobs.
Be proactive.
Yeah, because you don't want that gap. You don't want that gap in your employment.
Right.
And especially if you might be like this guy, you know, you might take that month off or whatever and don't want to go back to work.
Right.
And just
they give you
blame the world.
What was it like the compensatory it was like a couple weeks pay ahead of time. I can't think of what that was called, but you didn't take that because we had the job already lined up. But what was that? I can't think of what it's called, but they give you
like a severance package or something.
Yeah, like a severance package. Yeah, they'll give you something like that too. But like, yeah, all of that, you pay attention to those red flags, pay attention to those signs. Life will give you your signs, and you can read people's body language. You can read a scenario, a situation. You can really, if you listen in deep, you can really see and take heed to some warnings that are going on. So again, have those
don't be
emergency
naive.
savings.
Don't be naive.
Please don't be naive. Have those emergency savings. Have those backup plans where you're just really thinking about, you know, what you're going to do next, especially if you are the sole provider. You know, that's just important. And when we say sole provider, it doesn't mean that you're just the only one, you know, bringing in money. I do my little things here and there too, but it's not what pays the bills. And, you know, that's okay, right? Like, it's all about.
It's a supplement. It's it's a way of being resourceful.
Right.
Trying to keep money in.
Yeah.
Instead of it going out. Shout out to Nipsey Hussle.
You're right.
all money in, no money out. Yeah.
Facts. But this marathon called life, that's how it goes. Like, that really is. So yeah, I think this was a good one. I hope we have provided you with some value. Anybody out there that has anything that they have gone through in this, run this video back. Hopefully, eventually we'll get down to chopping this down too. But.
Right. Yeah. Share it, like it, subscribe it. It's also too, you know, get those likes up, get those subscriptions up on our YouTube. Not the likes. We got a lot of likes. Just need those people who like our videos to subscribe to our videos on YouTube.
It'll come. God did all this, so I'm just letting it. We just doing our part, and I'm just letting God and the universe and the placement of all the things. And when you're doing the right things, good things come in divine timing.
Yep, naturally. Yeah. Yep. So, Blueprint family, thank you all for coming out tonight. It's hot out there. Like I said, stay cool. You all have a good night.
Tomorrow's Friday.
Yep, Marriage Fit Friday. Yay. I forgot what we're talking about. We had a topic.
That one question. Yeah, we're gonna tune in tomorrow. I think the question was about what was it? Discernment. Yeah, and discernment of picking your spouse, the right spouse.
Picking the right spouse.
That's big.
Yeah, because that's
gonna be a big one for tomorrow.
Because that's picking. You're right. I can talk about that. But just that you all want to watch that tomorrow. Picking the right spouse, discernment, because a lot of people don't believe that is a thing, or either they in a loop of picking the wrong people, and it's actually that is your fault if you can't identify red flags.
Unfortunately,
well, you fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You know, so that is a concept. That is a virtue that is true. So. All right. So Blueprint family, you all have a good night. Peace. How many people?